Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you're calling in from or listening in from. Welcome to another conversation, authentic conversation. I'm your host, Adele Bernard, and I'll just give you a little bit about Transition Clarity, the company that hosts this podcast, and me. So, as a soul strategist and intuitive guide, I help people through the transitions of life, whether it's the dreaded pink slip, changes in the family unit, like a divorce or a loss of a loved one, or life is good and you know it can be fantastic. Are you dealing with sorrows or grief that you just can't get by? These are all, and some of the transitions that I help people with through the journey of leaving their head to come into their heart, to really show up as their true authentic self by releasing the conditioning, the beliefs, and the untruths that you've been told you are your whole life. And by coming on the journey with me, I stand as the lighthouse to share who you truly are with you. Because it's all about remembering. We've forgotten that we came as a soul being to have a human life. We've become human doings instead of human beings. And it's now time to remember the authentic self of who you are here to be. We would love you to share, like, subscribe to this podcast. It is shared over YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and iHeartRadio, and also LinkedIn and Facebook. And with that, I want to welcome our guest today. Keith Leon is a 12-time award-winning international best-selling author, co-owner of successful book publishing company, and a 57 times award-winning filmmaker. He is well known as the book guy because when it comes to getting your book done and using it as a tool for business growth, he is your guy. I am very excited for you to meet him and welcome him to the show. One more quick note before he comes on is that he makes us stand out amongst other publishers as your Speak It book program. You just show up for 7 phone calls and he will make you get all the information he needs from you, your ideas, your stories, and your content, and we'll turn it into a book that you'll be proud of. And with that, let's welcome Keith Leon S. to the show. And here he is, Keith Leon S. Welcome to Authentic Conversations.
Thank you. It's an absolute pleasure to be in your presence again. I really enjoyed last time we connected.
Yeah, well, we have such a background because without knowing each other, we know each other, right?
Yeah,
And and that's what makes it fun about having these conversations is you think you don't know somebody and then you're like, "Oh, well, we have that connection. We have that connection. We know that person. We know that person." Right? And
I was
it,
like, do you know? Yes. Do you know?
yeah.
Yes. Do you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. I do.
well, and this is what's so cool about having the podcast is there's no way I would have found some of the guests like you and others that were in my circle but not in my circle, and now like I'm just being referred out to so many people, and so I'm just so beyond grateful. And and I'm looking forward to connecting with the few we've talked about. So stay tuned to who he's going to give me on the show. So um but let's get into what you do as an author, of many, many books, a film
Maker.
creator, director, producer, everything that goes into that.
Yep.
How did you be, get into all of this? Right?
And book publisher.
Well, yeah,
Um,
like so how did like little Keith say, "Well, I'm going to grow up and be this" when
I'm glad you said that because I really do have to go back to, I think it was 7 or 8.
Mhm,
And if for anybody who's read my book already, and if not, it's called Walking with My Angels, a true story.
mhm,
I tell my story about it. My upbringing was really, really rough. It was really hard. Parents divorced at 2. Mom manic depressive, barely even got out of the bed. I looked forward to the manic because she would get out of the bed and we'd have adventures, and it was crazy. Like we could get arrested, crazy the stuff she did, but it was so worth it because the rest of the time was in bed just crying and weeping and sad, and it was just really, really bad. Uh, so I could hear my guardian angel's voice because for probably no other reason, like the guardian angel's job is to keep you out of harm's way. And so the only way that it can do that was to literally talk to me and speak to me because I had no parent. My sister was trying to raise me. My mom was completely useless. Grandma was around once in a while. Ladies in the church tried to help, but most of the time I was raising myself. So when I was 7 or 8, I went to see Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory
yeah,
with my mom. And up until that point, I just thought, like, what is my life going to be? Like, there's no way I'm going to college. There's no, all the things people talk about, probably not going to happen for me. And by the end of that movie, when he won the whole chocolate factory and all the messages in that movie through the Oompa Loompas, like none of it was wasted on me. It was all landing. And by the end of that movie, I was like, so I get it. Like what you believe, if you have faith and you really, really believe. And now I'm hearing all the, my mom used to make me go to church. So I'm hearing faith of a mustard seed happens as you believe. Pray, believe in the have, and you receive. I'm like, all of this came once the credits were rolling to this film. It just all landed. And I was like, it just, as you believe, it is done unto you. I get it. And so I made a plan. My 20s and 30s, I was going to be a rock star. My 40s, I was going to be a speaker on the biggest stages with the smoking hot wife. And in my 50s, I was going to be a filmmaker because that was the one thing that my mom would do with me when a little older is we would go watch films together. And we did a lot of that, watching TV and films together. So I was like, I really want to make films, but I want to make positive ones. So that was the plan. And I just have stuck to that. And so, in high school, I was like drinking and drugging. So I kind of didn't hear the voice as much, started to not believe in as much. And so by the time I got to 21, 22, again, I had to have a earthbound angel come, an etheric angel in the flesh come and spend time with me and teach me, take me from believing in nothing to believing in everything, said they would save my life. And once they did, I had to let them go. So that's a whole other thing I'll probably get into later. But uh, 20s and 30s rock star, was in a band, had recording contract, toured Japan. Everything kind of fell apart by the time I got to, like I said, 21, 22,
yeah,
and went through a deep, dark drug phase. It's really clear why that didn't happen. Because if I was in a rock band and I had access to all of those things,
yep,
I probably wouldn't be here, you know,
yeah.
because
Well, I
it
think
got
that
bad enough
I
when I didn't have all that money.
yeah, I think that goes is could be said for a lot of people.
Yeah, yeah. However, 20s and 30s, I've sang with Stevie Wonder, Ben Vereen, Nancy Wilson. I've performed with Kev Mo. Uh, the list goes on of legends. So I've done some things. I played like the Greek theater. That was a dream of mine. I saw so many people at the Greek theater, and I was like, one day I'll be on that stage. And then I did. I performed on that stage. So I really feel like I could check that box. And then 40s was best-selling author, speaker. So my wife and I wrote our first book, Seven Steps to Successful Relationships. I got John Gray to endorse our relationship book, but I didn't ask him how to market it. I didn't ask him to mentor me. And so I had basically sold 12 copies of that before I did the second book, Who Do You Think You Are? Discover the Purpose of Your Life. That had 10 people from the movie The Secret in it. And I asked those people if they would mentor me and how much they would charge me and when we could start. And they were like, "You are such a doer. Doers help doers. I'm charging you nothing. What do you need? Here we go." And they took me under their wing and taught me everything they know. Ended up with the three mentors I always wanted my whole life: John, uh, Jack Canfield, Bob Proctor, John DeMartini, and all the rest of them were still there since 2006. Have been there for me. So got to speak on some of the largest stages in the world. Check, right? Uh, Attracted my wife, beautiful wife. Check. We got 27 years we're coming up on now, and so that's good. So then the book um, writing, right, being a best-selling author and speaking and all that turned into publishing. Jack Canfield was like, "You helped a lot of people write the books. You've taken them all the way there. You might as well publish them."
Mhm.
And but it's a lot of admin, so really think about that before you say yes. So we did. We decided to publish, and now we've been publishing books for 23 years, and that went so well, right? That I forgot 50s was film, and I found
It's
myself
like
in I was like,
breaks.
yeah, I was like 50, 55, and I was like, wait a minute, 50s was always film. That's the big dream. That's the big payoff. Everything else was leading up to film, so that when I made films, now I understood it, and I had the outreach, and I had the connections, and I had all the stuff I needed to go big with film. And all that because somebody asked me, like, when are you going to make a film? And thank God they asked me. And so, so yeah, I turned to making films. Um, and now I'm a 57-time award-winning filmmaker, and loving that. So the answer is I dreamed it up when I was really really young,
Mhm.
and then I just did everything I need to do to create it and make it happen. And there's no other way I could say, because I don't believe in luck. Nothing was handed to me. Uh, Barely graduated high school by 1 point. I tried to go to college, but I was about a year and a half into city college, and it was either eat or go to college. So I had to make a choice. I thought eating and staying alive might be good. So I had to stop going to college. And so it's like there's nothing about how I was, my upbringing or anything that makes any sense that I should have been able to accomplish any of the things that I've accomplished, other than I set my mind to it and totally believed that I could do any of it, and then just kept asking quality questions and receiving quality answers, um, and then taking the steps that I received from the answers.
Well, and I want to bring it back to the fact like um you're recognized as a doer because so
Yeah,
many people, and you got to believe a little bit in luck for the fact that you were in those circles to meet those kinds of people, right? So here you're coming with your ambition, like I'll do whatever it takes, right?
right.
And they're saying, we'll help you because you were in the right room. You're in the right? Because, I mean, they say this to, for years. You don't go to Yale for the schooling, you go to who you're going to meet,
Mm.
right?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like when I watched the movie The Secret, all my friends were like, I want to meet them. Like, I want to meet those people and get their autographs and like take their course. And my brain doesn't work that way. I was like, I want to connect with them and I want to work with them. I want to be colleagues. I want them to invite me to their house at Christmas. Like,
Yeah.
that's how close I want to be with them. So
Yeah.
there's two different levels of thinking, right? So my mind automatically goes to the big. What's the best possible outcome that could happen? So I really created that. Yeah, yeah. I really I did everything I needed to put myself in front of them. I didn't just like accidentally run into them. I found out where they were going to be and was there, and had already bugged their people so much that they had heard of me, or there is a different story each time, uh, but it is
Well,
like
but I
I just
mean, it's even our connection. Like we have in the past run in the same circles,
yeah,
right? But it wasn't time. The timing wasn't right for us to meet. And
all right,
even this time when we have met and had these conversations, then it's like all these dots start connecting. You're like, well, of course we have to do something together. Where it
all right,
goes from here, I don't know. I have no idea, but I know that we were brought together for a reason, and let's make the best of it,
yeah,
right?
yeah. And
And
have
yeah, like
fun.
like that's what I say about, how I started this conversation is like I am so grateful for any connection that people give me, because the reason I keep doing this podcast is I love people and I love their story more. And
Mm,
how can we grow together? How can we expand together? And anything that anyone hears from this show or other shows, great. If it helps one person, my
right.
job is done.
Then it was worth sitting down and doing it.
Yeah, right? And
Yeah.
because a couple of weeks ago, I was like, is anyone even listening? I don't know.
Mm,
And then it's like, you have 500 downloads. I'm like, cool. On one platform. That means 500 shows. What? I don't know. I don't even know. I just say, I'm here. I'm doing the work. I'm manifesting what I truly want, right?
mm,
Because you were saying, I'm going to be a speaker, I'm going to be a writer, I'm going to be a producer. And
yeah.
I always said, why can't I be the next Oprah? Right?
Mm,
In a different way, right? Because
yeah.
it's just love or hate whoever's famous. How are you supposed to work in that field? Because was I ever supposed to be a news anchor? No. Was right? Like there's some ways of being on TV or on like no. But am I asking for bigger, more expansion? Like crack me open, God, right? And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm cracked open. I'm here as a vessel to serve in His glory. And I'm
Mm,
not saying about the church,
yeah.
right? There's a big distinction in my mind,
Yeah.
right? And just like you, like, how can I work with you guys? And they're like, we'll mentor you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think that's where we're losing it, because when you think of like the turn of the century in like the 1900s, everything was about mentorship, everything was about apprenticeship. You didn't, like, you went to college, but as long as you were going to college, you were doing the apprenticeship with Mr. So on or Mrs. So and so or whoever, right? Where I
Yeah.
find nowadays it's like everyone feels they got to do it all on their own,
Yeah.
and
That's
they're forgetting that nowhere is, where is that mentorship? Where is that apprenticeship? Who are you working with? Who are you working under? Who's guiding that path for you? And there's
yeah.
a, I just did a podcast when someone was saying they were talking about building the runway, right?
Yeah.
When you're on your own, you build a couple feet because that's all you can see forward.
Mm,
When you
yeah.
have mentorship, apprenticeship, you can build a runway that a bomber can come in, which is the
Yeah.
longest runway ever, because others are helping you grow that vision.
Yeah. And that shift really happened back like 2007, 2008. I remember that was one of the first things that Bob Proctor, he said solopreneur is done. We can't do anything alone anymore. He said um, collaboration is the new paradigm. He's like, we just gotta come together. come together and work on things together. Get a mentor. Like just trying to do it by yourself is not going to work. And that was before a lot of the things we have now, where
Mhm.
every TV station, everything is split off into a million parts, and they're trying to sell you every one of them singly. And I try to watch football now. It's like five different ways now. You have to pay for all five of them. It's wild. And and then also the energy shift, and I believe we talked about this before. The super slick salespeople that were using, you know, NLP and this like sorcery is what I call it. And they have all these tricks on the stage to kind of hypnotize the people,
Yeah.
so that when they said they were doing their program offer, and they're
Yeah. Run
slashing
to the
in
back, sign up.
price, and they're like doing okay, so there's this many people here, and we only have this many. And they're like, oh, now it's the limiter. Oh no, there's only so many. Oh
Yeah.
no, if I don't do that,
Scarcity.
I'm like, yeah, right. And they did like all these tricks, and then people just pop up and run to the back of the room and sign up for that $1,000 thing when they didn't have it in the account or whatever. And that really, really, really did well for a long time. And and then this one guy named Harv Eker came in and he started giving away a 3-day course for free.
Mhm.
And the reason he did it for free was because he was so good at all that stuff we were just talking about, that he knew he could empty every person there's wallet over 3 days,
Yeah.
empty it like cobwebs. That's what would be left. And so it's just like, wow. And energetically, it's like, and that was the largest training company in the world. Energetically, everybody was just like, wow, this is something doesn't feel right about this. So whew, it came a new paradigm. And people that were heart centered and honest and truthful and didn't do those tactics started to do really well. Where before we were just like starving, they were getting all the money, and we're just like being authentic and sharing our hearts, and you know, just telling the truth and not hypnotizing people. And we get a little bit, but not like people weren't running lockstep to the back of the room like a bunch of robots, because we didn't set it up that way. And then I just felt like I'd rather survive on this much than do that. Like I just can't. I'm not that guy, right?
Well,
So
and
there was
I
that
I
paradigm
like
shift.
how you brought that up because a lot of those courses with Harv, it wasn't what he was selling on stage. For me, it was who I connected with, the songs that they put timely in so the shift would happen would get
Yeah.
me every time. And it was also in in like what I saw as a person who works with the soul of a lot of those people on that stage were broken.
Mm-hmm.
They could sing and dance and be the puppet they need to be, but if you said something the wrong way, they would crumble. Right? And it's just like, yeah, like, so you kind of go, well, do you want all that fame? And I was like, no, right? Like, that might be their delivery. That's awesome. Wish them well. Is that my delivery? Absolutely not. Because I
It gets
want people to come into that sacred circle and be seen and be heard and be held, right? Whether it's
yeah,
in joy and sorrow, it doesn't matter. Like, it's the bond.
yeah.
Or how many people left warrior camp not in their body,
Mm-hmm.
right? Went home and literally died because they had
Wow.
no connection, or ended up in divorce because they weren't anywhere near their body. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I know with my warrior camp, it was like I was pulling them back into their bodies before they got on the bus to go home.
Wow. Yeah.
And I'm saying stuff to the volunteers, and they go, "Huh? What?" And I'm like, "Ay, ay, ay." And so, um, I can't think of his name, but he was part of, not part of Harvest, but part of the whole transformation. of, let's have the sweats. And it's like, and he got caught for using tarps,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And they smolt. And it's just like, if you're going to do an indigenous tribe ritual, let the indigenous tribe build it,
And do it.
right?
Exactly.
So you don't kill the people by using plastic tarps,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. The energy, I feel like, yeah, energy was mishandled in some ways. The what I did enjoy about peak potentials, and especially back then, was my wife and I were coaches for their programs. So for people that don't know, there was like this this package you could buy where you would get like every seminar that they had
Mm-hmm.
plus coaching. And uh, a dear friend of ours, like my wife Mara and I we were both coaches at the time, and we were really exploring that for our business. So we were, coaching people, and we just wanted to be the best coaches we could ever be. And one of our friends said, "Oh, if you to peak potentials, if you want the best, you got to have these two." And so they hired us, and I had 35 clients, and she had 32, right? And so
Right.
we really, really did, because they had the most incredible curriculum for that, and it was each month was a different topic. It was like very mind-blowingly beautifully created, and so we got to do that form of coaching and learn from that. And then after a while, we, as we started to really have success and be well known, we continued coaching for them. And so then it was like, then they were specifically sending people who said, um, I want to be an author. I want to get on stage. I want to,
Yeah.
right? I want to get interviews. I want to take it. That's the business I want to do. So they were sending people our way that were appropriate for that. So it was, like you said, it was the people that I met through the coaching at the events. I did get to speak on the stage twice, and the the first time was about books, and I just had a really tight and beautiful, authentic, true conversation, and did well. You know? The other time, not so much, because I had just done the course where they teach you how, if you're going to be on their stage, how to pitch to people
Mm-hmm.
that are their people. Now remember, those people are they've been learning this way,
Indoctrinated.
hypnotized, fear based, all that stuff,
Yeah.
and and so they teach you this template, and I was like halfway through that template, things were going well as far as in that room, but halfway through I was like, this is not me. I can't do this. I would just like have to go immediately take a shower if I continue. And I'm not sure that it'll wash off. I can't do it. Dang it. I can't do it. So I just stopped and said, I know you're used to hearing it this way, but this way is so authentically not me. So here's what you need to know. My wife and I are relationship experts. We got John Gray, the number one guy of all time, endorses our work. And when Harv was thinking, who in the world can do this piece,
Mm-hmm.
he hired me and her. So I feel like that's all you need to know. So if you really, really do want support with your relationships, this, then go back and sign up. And thank you for your time. So I just kind of wrapped it up that way. And nobody moved. It was like very, very little. We sold like a couple books, and maybe one person signed up for the program, and there was 1,000 people at cement. So it's like, no, if you do not do it that way, you will fail. And then I just
Well,
got
I don't know if you'll fail because Keith Cunningham has been on that stage.
uh-huh.
He's not failing. He sold out his program every time. He doesn't sell Harv's way at all. He comes off of 4 days with me or 4 years in university. You'll learn more with me. Right? Right? And it's funny because I knew people that took this course going, well, I don't have time for the university. I'll go to this course. Came back going, didn't know a thing he was saying. I said, because what do you mean you don't? Didn't hear, didn't understand anything he was saying. And here I'm like, oh, I love him, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, and then, like I would say, like Rich Dad Poor Dad is Keith Cunningham's life, not Robert Kiyosaki's,
Hmm.
right? And they go, what? And I go, read the front of the book. But I also have a different perspective on that because I lived that, right? I was the kid that my dad was both dads, depending on where we were in the cycle. We were the rich dad and the poor dad at different times, right? But it's, I mean, it just comes down to even like, um, when you're saying like people running to the back of the room, spending their money they don't have on this hyped up wish,
Right.
right? And it was just like ick, right? Because the cheapest thing about all these courses that they promote is buying the program.
Mhm.
It's getting to each one every 2 to 3 months, flying in, hotels, and you're just like,
Feels,
when did I
yeah.
become the rich and famous? Right?
Right.
I'm not famous and I'm not rich,
Yeah.
right?
I was a rich and famous, and it just felt like the Las Vegas thing, right? Where they go and they lose it all, and then they're like just trying to get it back.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get it back. Yeah.
And you never do,
Yeah. That was one of
right?
the things that as one of their coaches, they had to promise me, the people that I was working with, to leave their wallet in the room. And they weren't allowed to purchase anything unless they called me and we discussed it
Yeah,
beforehand.
well, if I'd
Because
gotten
they
hooked
were
up
like,
with
no,
you,
no, but you don't understand. Like, if I'm not the first 15, and I said, that's not a thing. That's a tactic. I guarantee you, if you go back, you come to me on the break and we decide yes, and you go after the break, that there'll still be a spot for you. I 100% guarantee that. That's called a
and even if you
takeaway.
come after the whole weekend's over and they're starting to pack up, there'll still be a spot to take your
Yeah,
money.
exactly. So, so that was the thing. No, no, no. Leave it all in the room, because otherwise they would just always come back like, "Man, I did it again." And it was like they were addicts, you know, just
Yeah.
just seminar addicts, and yeah, it was hard to
Well,
watch.
then you have the new ones coming out that they're like, oh, they're so amazing, and I'm like, it's half regurgitated. Like I was there with the original person. I don't need to have the regurgitated one,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And that's the thing too, right? Like especially in coaching, it's like your experience and my experience is is how we show up for our clients.
Mhm.
We can't teach our style because they haven't lived our life,
Right.
right? And that's what I liked about our first conversation was that we both got the ick factor of like ick. Well, that's not who we are,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah,
it's like show up, do your work, enjoy your life because abundance is here for everyone.
yeah.
It's the mind that teaches us that we can't have it.
And the people that were those events sometimes would be having their own events. So they would come up and they'd be like, first of all, you're the only one I trust in the room. Second of all, I'm having my own event. It's not going to be this big, but I would love to have you come and speak at it. And even after my wife and I stopped doing the relationship thing together, teaching about that, we still booked over the years another another few events because it was people that came back later and they're just like, oh, I remember seeing you at that thing. Oh my God, we're having Colorado, we're having a retreat. Will you guys come here and do it? And we look at each other and we go, yeah, that'd be fun. We'll do one
Yeah.
more. We remember
Yeah.
the stuff. That's cool. And so it's interesting how it was kind of the gift that kept on giving, but only the people that were an energetic match we would run into later. And isn't that how it is? Right. Uh, Especially because like I have an affirmation for the people that we attract to work with, and it really really works. And that is, I am now attracting clients who are a perfect match energetically.
Hmm.
They see my value and can easily afford to pay me. That's my perfect client. They're ready. They get where I can get them and what I can do for them, and then they can afford it. Because otherwise, it'd be, it was just hard doing so many connection calls with so many people that weren't ready financially or energetically or ready to do their book. And it just got to where I didn't have time to do any calls other than this specific thing. So I started saying that as a mantra. I did it like 100 times a day for 33 days, and then after the 33 days, as much as I could remember to say it. And then, my goodness, that was all the people that I was connected to were just like, oh yeah, yeah. And when it was a match, we could totally feel it energetically. And then they were like, man, I'm ready to go. And I can't even believe that I can do that for this much. Where before it was like, oh my God, really? So expensive. And I was like, huh? Because we do the You Speak It book program where you can speak your book in 7 phone calls. Like that's your commitment. And then you touch it a couple times after that, but that's it. And then a book that you're proud of, this beautiful, arrives at your doorstep 6 to 9 months later, right? And and we had like just the absolute lowest it could even be to even make a profit. And sometimes people were like, "Oh my God, that's so much," and I was just like, "If you had any idea what the cost of things are, you would never say that."
Yeah.
But then after the mantra, then it would be like, is that it? Are you kidding? Is that it? Like, that's what I hear. And I go, okay, all right, this is a match,
Hmm.
we're gonna do well because they see the value of what they're receiving, which is really important,
Well,
no
but I
matter what
even
the price
think
is.
about where we reconnected through networking.
Yeah.
Most of those people can't afford you.
Mm.
99% of those people can't afford you.
I could afford that program probably, but
Well, no, but you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
or maybe I'm just finding the runs that maybe I got to do your mantra more. Um, but like it's like everyone's there hoping, wishing, whatever. Because I even said to two people that were telling me that my friend who runs that networking, she's doing it all wrong. She should do it this way, that way, and 10 ways the other way. And
Yeah.
I said, why are you here to network? And they said, what do you mean? I said, networking is about serving. In return, you may get clients. In return, somebody else might serve you to hook you up with someone. If you're coming to networking to take or get, you're
Get,
in
yeah,
the
like
wrong
get
room,
clients.
right? She tried to rip me a new one. And I said, thank you. And,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? First of
Right.
all, she doesn't know that I know the person working her butt off to do this networking. She's doing it
Yeah.
out of the greatness of her heart, and you're going to backstab her to people in the private room with you, telling her she's doing it all wrong and you have the better system? Build your own room.
Mhm.
Right. You're a taker. You can't do that. Because
Yeah.
good networkers build for others, they're here to serve,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Like even in the peaks, if we went in there to say we're only here to show up to get clients for our business, right?
Right.
We wouldn't have met the people we met. We wouldn't have gotten on the stages we got on, and we wouldn't have learned a darn thing.
Yeah. Yeah. The more we learned, the more it was fun to share within the room with
Yeah.
with people. Hey, hey, you know what we learned? I mean, like,
Well, And
sharing within the room, and they're like, oh, yeah, check it out, I learned this, and so we were all learning together. What was it? Somebody said the best seminar is out of the room,
mhm,
and I didn't have an experience with that for a long time because I was in the room, and it wasn't late till later when it's like I would go to the restroom and then I'd be outside and then it'd be like, oh, the one speaker I was actually supposed to meet would be in the bathroom or sitting on the chair
yeah.
outside of the room. And I'd start talking to them, could have an essential conversation, maybe a heart to heart conversation, a connection, right? Uh, 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 and or they would give me a piece, or I'd run into somebody that I did meet inside of the room, but then we'd start chatting, we'd sit down and connect heart to heart and end up doing incredible things together later. So it did come to find out that the true seminar, like the real connections, definitely would happen outside of the room. It's
Well,
pretty
and
cool.
here's an example of, I don't know what course it was, but we're at the M Resort in Vegas, and my girlfriend and I are standing there in line to go in for dinner, and I hear this voice, right? A real voice, not a the other ones, right? And I'm like, I said to my girlfriend, I go, I know that voice. And she goes, what do you mean you know that voice? I go, I know that voice, right? And lo and behold, she ends up right behind us in this line to go in for the dinner. And I turned around and I go, I know your voice. And she goes, what do you mean? I said, keep talking, it'll come. We had had a call together with someone somewhere, didn't, and I go, I know you. And I gave her the whole rundown of who she was, where she lived. And she's like, oh my God. And I go, join us for dinner. To this day, we're still friends, right? Because it's like we were on a call. I'm very audio,
Yeah,
right? You could
yeah,
give me spreadsheets. You could, yeah, explain what you need and what. I'll get it. I'll understand it, right? And even my girlfriend, she's like, why do I even bother to second guess you? And I go, I don't know, right? And
yeah.
so it helps that I'm an intuitive. I can hear the voice of what I need to hear for you in front of me,
Mm,
right? Because if you aren't listening to your guides are going to come through me for you to listen,
right. Yeah, yeah. I
you
get
know?
that one. I get that
And
one.
so, yeah, like it's like I try to be gentle about it now. Before I used to just go blip and they go, what?
Yeah. Hey, if I had some information, would you want to
Yeah.
hear it? It's always a
Well,
good way, good lead in.
but the thing is that if they say no, zipped.
It's not time,
Well, I
not
know, and
met.
then like I had one person like come back to me a couple months later, and well, you remember you're gonna I go, I don't know. It was then. It's gone now.
Yeah,
You know
yeah. There was a time when I was open, really open to all of that. uh,
why did you
hear,
close it?
hearing all of that, because so many dead people were harassing me, trying to get me to reach out to their family or tie up a loose end for them, or all of that, and it was just like everywhere I went, and it was really, really, really annoying. So I just had to uh, be clear about if there's something that is super important that I need to deliver to somebody, that I need to deliver to somebody, that that comes through. But as far as being recognized, being seen by uh, as someone who can see them, I just had to shut that down. So I found out I can have don't have to be it all, don't have to
Yeah.
be everything, don't have to be an empath and feel the whole world's everything, because that's really can be really hard on your health and and sleep and things that are very valuable. So like, oh no, no, I could be an empath, meaning I can use that for me in a lot of ways. Like I'm a super sensitive guy, and I can, if I need to, I can sit in front of somebody and feel what's going on as a part of a way to help me support them. I don't have to take on the whole world's thing because it's yeah, it's really rough.
Well, like I'm very aware of my boundaries and when they can and cannot talk to me. And
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of reading this book on the wild side of sorrow.
Uh,
Hook, line, and sinker. The book took me in, and I'm like, what's going on? Because I didn't set my intention before the book started that everything that I learned through this book goes through my body with ease and grace,
yeah.
right? And I was just like reeling. Like I couldn't stop crying. I was just like, whoa, right? But there's one part in the book where he was talking to someone in Africa and he says, oh, the joy that comes out of you is just beautiful. And she says, I cry many tears, right? To have the joy, you must deal with the grief and the sorrow, the crying, the whatever, right? And we as people, especially in North America, we feel we can't share it. We can't speak about it. It's a one thing, right? Like if you were able to go and talk to your neighbors as a little boy saying, "Help me with my mom. She has so much grief in her."
Yeah.
Your life might have been different. But oh, heaven forbid you say anything to anybody.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I said help me with my mom a lot. That's how I got the some of the women in the church to help me. They're super sweet. So I learned a lot of things too with those women who kind of helped and supported. One of them was a baker. She would make homemade bread, and oh, just the smell of homemade bread to this day reminds me of her. And she would be like, "Hey, you want to help?" And I got to knead it and make it with her, and a lot of good memories. But things have shifted even since you and I believe, since you and I connected. I finished my second draft of the first film of my Walking with My Angels three film series. I
Oh, awesome.
finished the first manuscript, and I have the pitch ready and the pitch deck and the slide deck and just everything you would need to pitch it. And found a partner a few months ago that now I will be able to do that, be able to pitch it to the movie stations and the TV stations. It will be a match.
Who
Um,
are you pitching it to?
well, I'll be pitching it to, depending on if it's, I have the film and then I have the TV show. So I'm going to write the first pilot season for the TV show. And they're a similar subject, but a completely different way of presenting it. And so I think that the TV show would be more like a Lifetime, Hallmark, those type of channels. The film is definitely going to be huge. so
Like Blockbuster.
like Netflix, like Apple, like Prime, with somebody, and I feel like if they're smart, that they will do it as an exclusive, right? Like as their studio in 10 with mine, as opposed to having 10 studios come together. Because the three-part series, those have been going really well for a lot of years now, doing really well, and this is going to be one of those because it's even where it starts. It's my story, right? Then there's so much good energy through it. The attractor factor that people are going to tell people, oh my god, this film, you got to see this, and it's gonna grow because the energy is pure all the way through it. Even though it'll have angels battling and and all of that by film three, uh, it's still there'll be so much spiritual messages coming through things. People end up leaving the film talking about like, what do you think he meant when he said um, predestination. I wasn't clear about that. What does that mean, right? No, it was clear. That means that before you come, you agreed it, right? Like those conversations happening after you leave a film, like that's been my whole purpose and dream in filmmaking was to make positive films with positive messages and spiritual lessons and have it go so well that other studios feel like they have to do it too if they want to compete, right? And
Well,
so that
it's interesting you say that because to this day, Dead Poet Society is probably the one movie that I'm just like, you didn't get the movie. And people are like, what? And I go, you didn't get the movie. You didn't understand the movie. And then, like, and I didn't realize until someone posted that they've never seen Star Wars. And I'm like, well, I didn't like Star Wars. I preferred Kung Fu Panda. And he's like, haven't seen either. And I'm like, either you're living under a rock or you don't like movies. And he goes, movies aren't my thing. And I'm like, how can movies not be your thing?
yeah,
Because I think there's we can go through life and pull in a movie that's depicts what's going on in our life.
yeah,
Or a song. Or songs do the same thing. And I did a talk the other day that I kind of put words together and a friend put music together and I'm like, I can't present this. And he's like, what? I go, because I can't stop flipping crying through it. Because it like words on a page didn't do anything, but you put the music and you feel it and you're just like, oh my lord, I can't do this talk.
mm,
Right? And yeah, so it was just it's just so I can't I it struck me how well how do you go through life without that mirror or that thing kind of going twinge twinge pay attention. Right, and here you are writing the story of your life going people are going to have to talk. Like it's going to bring up
yeah,
things that are so real and life changing. And how do you just not talk about it?
yeah, yeah. It's funny because I always thought like all the books I've done and everything, I still always thought I would need to sit down with a screenwriter to do. I don't know why I had that in my head. I was always going to be working with a screenwriter who was going to take my book and turn it into a screenplay. And I just once I met this partner that I've been working with, and she has a network, her own network, and she helps people with TV shows and like does all the things, and then I do. And we when we came together, we realized that together we literally have like you can plug in. I want a TV show. I want to take my book and turn it into a film. I want to do a book, then turn it into a film. I want to whatever you fill in here. We can take you all the way through to distribution. And then she even has her own streaming channel that did so well that then we can pitch for you to all the bigs, right? Pitch all the movie channels, all the TV stations, because her channel did so well that they started saying you can come to us, you can pitch us, and so it's just being with her and being like, okay, so which part will you do? Which part do I do? And how and coming together and seeing that vision and then figuring out how we're making it happen um, got me so fired up that I was like, well, you know what? I should be writing my mind. Right? And so then I just took the book and just looked at the outline and took that and okay, so how would I split that into three films? And then I kind of wrote the outline for the first film, and then I just started writing because I had the outline, and that's kind of all I ever need anyway is the outline. And then I realized there's no screenwriter in the world that can write it better than me because I lived it. So what why did I ever think?
Well, and a
I
lot of
thought I was
authors say the same thing. Like they don't realize that they actually can do the screen of it because
yeah.
they're the writer.
Right, and there's all the like anytime I see a real screenplay, it's like he walks into the room. There are 12 people there. This blah 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 blah, and it's like that kind of narration of So the producer director kind of knows what's happening in the room, and then there's the words of the characters, and there's all these, like the layout of it is not something even anybody that wrote a book would know. But it's like, well, that's why they created the program to specifically do that. That's when I'll sit down with somebody who would like take it all and put it all together. But it's like, but meanwhile, I could write down all left justified. Man, well,
So what's the
what
so what is the difference between the book to the screen? Like how would it shift?
the book is, like 278 pages, and you can uh, like the film is broken into three different parts,
So
and
you're
then
just
the
writing more.
yeah, like the film, they always say like based on, and now I get why, because um, there's the book that I wrote, and then there's the what people show up, and the films that do really well have, right, and so uh, where my angel in real life was spending time with me and showing me miracles and doing all the things, but that was specifically for me. I knew at that time that he was also in a battle with a dark energy, but I was so focused on me trying to get it that I didn't get till many years later when I started writing this. Oh, I felt that dark energy ever since I was a kid coming after me. That's why my guardian angel was talking to me, keeping me out of harm's way. There was always a dark energy there. So that dark energy knows what I'm here to do on earth and all the good that I'm going to do and how many lives I'm going to touch and with this book, with this film, and so it's always kind of been after me, right? And I feel like it literally was after, like on him because he expressed it a couple times. And but he was like, but don't worry about it. He just didn't want me to worry about it. So I'm like, oh my God, that's so something to explore through the whole film, that dark energy, how it's showing up and how much it's showing up and how it gets bigger and bigger. And by the time he's working with me, like he literally has to battle it. like,
Well,
like
and
physically.
I think people get caught in it also in health reasons,
Yeah.
right? Because you're not you're kind of maybe going through a little something and then like your body just goes I can't do anymore and then it's just like and then you go I think I'm done. It's like no you're not. We'll just clear that out, get you on your road again. But what I find is really interesting is how many people in the last couple years, it's just coming up more and more and more, are losing hearing,
Mm.
right? One ear, both ears. It's like so interesting because the spoken word is lessening as we move into 2027. And then you think of all these people that are trying to get through life, like how they used to hear everything and then it's gone silent. Well, not even silent. The worst part, like the one lady that I was watching, she goes, silence would be fine. But when people are talking untruth to you, we get this high pitched squeal, right? And then if it is truth and it's right, it's just like this low murmur. And I'm like, oh my God, that would be worse. I'd rather silence. Right? Right. And so you think about doing your screenplay and it's just like stretching it. And it's like, well, no, it still has to be in truth, or we're gonna hear it as wee.
Yeah, yeah, but remembering, like when I remembered metaphors. I remembered, after meeting the angel and then years and years later, I remembered like all the key messages and the pieces, but not the conversations of then he said, then I said. That wasn't a thing until I got it's time to write the book. And when I sat down to write the book and I said, okay, then I'm an open channel, let's go. Then I could remember every word of every conversation that happened. And I caught that, for the book. and it was like I was like I'm possessed. It's the way I said. I was just like, oh my god. So it was just like flowing through, and the words were going, and I'm literally remembering every word that was said. But that wasn't important until I sat down to write the book. That would have just been a whole bunch of noise, right? I just remembered the key things that I was supposed to learn, the lessons, the valuable lessons. And so that's how it feels like now that I'm sitting down to write the film. It's like when I wrote the book all over again, like a whole nother level. Because I've read the book now so many times. I like to read it one or two times a year just to help me remember where I came from and why I'm here and all
Mm-hmm.
the lessons that I learned. So I'll read it. So I remember all of that because I've read it so many times. So now it's that whole other level. Oh God, I do remember him saying that he was in a battle with the dark entity that was literally trying to take me out. And that was part of why he was sent there. But I had erased that part out of my mind because he said, but don't worry about that. We have so much more to do, and that'll just take you out of what I need to teach you, the experience. That's not important to you. But I was writing, I was like, oh my God, this guy was like giving me all that time, all that love, all that energy came came to me like patiently waited till I kind of befriended him, hanging out. I was a bartender. He'd come to this bar and hang out till we got to be good enough friends that I was like, "Do you want to hang out after work?" And then we're hanging out after work, and he finds out I barely believe in anything by now, so he has to kind of keep probing questions and asking me and find out what I do believe. So he knew where he had to start to finally then kind of start, and then take like my stepfather who had died with this ring on that I had. He said, "Can I see that ring? Do you trust me? Can I see that ring?" Then he took the ring and put it in his hands, and then proceeded to tell me everything about my life from being born up until the day that guy died with the ring on. And he was like, "Oh God!" Oh, he handed me the ring back and said I could have went my whole life without seeing that. Oh, okay. Well, anyways, and there was no Google back when this was happening. Okay,
Yeah.
there was no way he knows any of those things about me. So that was just like the
But
first
even with
kind of,
Google, they don't know those things about you.
yeah. He just that was like the first proving something to me, and then to just keep at it, and then eventually finally say, "Do you trust me? Okay, this is why I'm here. Like I'm a real earthbound angel, and people call earthbound angels people that do good deeds. No, earthbound angel is, I was an etheric angel who dropped into a dead body of a guy who OD'd, who had
Yeah.
no family. Nobody would ever notice if I dropped in and assumed that body that anything had changed.
Yeah.
So then I took and so and there's more than just me, right? Earthbound angels are assigned to certain people to keep them from dying before their predetermined expiration date because they're here to do things that will make a difference on the planet. And if they die before they were supposed to, then those things don't happen and it has a not so great effect on the planet. That's what
Yeah.
he told me.
And
Huh?
for the listeners, they're also known as walk-ins.
Yeah, Watkins, exactly.
um,
So
well, but
that
it's
was a
funny.
lot.
So speaking of walk-ins or whatever,
Yeah.
um, so I have a friend who channels Wilhelm, who's an archangel or whatever, and he said, "Oh, you don't think Eckhart Tolle's one of us,
Right.
right? We
Yeah.
needed we needed him to come because
Mhm.
you guys need the book to go to the
Right.
park and read."
Right.
And I laughed. I said, "Oh my gosh, like that is so funny, right?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we all have that gift of knowing, of hearing, of understanding, but we get into our humanness of the brain has to figure everything out, and truly it messes us up.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's dropping into your heart and truly listening to the guidance that is here, whether it is that person that ends up in your life as the walk in, whatever, or
Yeah.
it's God directly talking to you. It doesn't
Right.
matter. It's
Yeah.
about listening.
Yeah.
How am I here to serve? the
Yeah.
highest good of all, right?
I like to say, God doesn't care what you call it as long as you call it.
Yeah. Well, and there's many times that I said, "Oh, I'm done with this podcast." Like, I'm done.
Yeah.
And then I get, "No, you aren't." And my inbox fills up again. I'm like, "Oh." Like,
Uh,
so, where is it going? I don't know. Maybe you'll make a movie. Who knows? But
yeah.
anyways.
Yeah.
So, I want you we got to start wrap. I know we can talk forever, but we should wrap up this conversation.
Yeah.
Um, Tell the people who are listening what you're offering for them.
Yeah. You got it. Well, we've established that I am a book publisher.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have been writing a book and you have a manuscript and you're like, I would love to turn this over to the professionals, get it edited, proofread. Uh, we do that. That's where we start with people because during that process, you get to know us and our team, and we get to know you and your book. And if those things are a match, then we have a publishing conversation. So that's all the books that we publish. It started with us being the team of editing and proofreading and us getting to know each other and finding out if it's a match. We publish books that make a difference. I mentioned that we have a process where if you are so busy of being in service to other people, right? So you're a speaker, you're a functional medical practitioner, you're a healer of some sort, you're in service to other people, but you really need a book, but you don't have any time. Then we have a process where you can speak your book in 7 phone calls and we will get it done for you and create a book that you'll be proud of. And then if you have a TV show idea, if you have a film script that you would love to have pitched, if you have a film script but you don't have all the other things I mentioned that you have to have when you pitch, uh, anything you would love to do video wise that would get your message out to the world in a big way, like between me and or Gina Rose, the two of us, we can take you all the way through distribution. And then if you want to go to bigs, then we pitch to them for you. So it's really if it's time for you to get your mission, your message, your story, whatever it is that's been burning in your heart to share with the world, you feel like that's why I'm here, that's why I'm here on this earth. Like I have this purpose and I'm ready to step into it, then I would love to offer uh, a complimentary clarity call with me,
Mm-hmm.
and we can connect. And you can tell me what it is, where your heart is, what you want to create, what you want to achieve, and we'll just see if I'm the person that can help you to get there. And so that clarity call you can put in tinyurl.com/, clarity call with Keith. So
Okay.
tinyurl.com /clarity call with Keith. And I will provide that. And I'm sure it'll show up as
Yeah, I'll
a
have
link.
it in the show notes. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
well, so does everyone need a book?
In my opinion, yes. If you want to grow your business or you want to get your mission, your message, and your story out there. I know a lot of people don't feel like these kind of books are really read anymore, but not true. And it really is the best piece that you could ever have if you have a coaching business or if you're a speaker. That's just a have to. You got to have that if you want to be able to get to that next level, to that next step. And people that use it as a credit, as a business card, the way that I teach them,
Mm-hmm.
there's like exact language to like I'll teach you. Their practices grow like by leaps and bounds because the one thing about a book, whether people read it or not, they don't throw it away. So if you give someone a book with an offer, like if you're a coach, hey, your first coaching session is free if you call me and tell me I gave you this book, right? Uh, they will either go home, read the book, love you, and call to get the free thing, or they'll throw the book on the table because they don't throw it away. And every time they pass the book, it tells them to call you to get the free thing. And so it really, when you use it, literally use your book as a business card, it's not if you'll hear from them, it's when, because eventually they will go, oh, I need to call them. So I've been having so much fun for 23 years now, teaching people that process, how to use the book. And there's even down to the size of the book is so important. It's like 5 1/4 by 820 to 140 pages. That's the size that if you put someone's hands, you don't watch the blood drain out their face. Because if you give like somebody a 300-page 6 by 9 book, say, read this and give me a call. You never hear from that person. But that one size, it's like they feel like I can I can do that. I can read it,
Well,
which means they'll take it. They'll take it.
I don't know dimensions that well, but it's like in the old days, if it can fit in the front jacket pocket
Yeah,
for men, they'll do it.
yeah,
If it can't,
yeah,
it won't. If it can fit in the clutch of the women's purse, they'll do it. If not, they won't. Right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So that's very interesting. Very interesting. Well, it's been a delight to have you on the show, and
Thank you.
yeah, I don't know where this is going, but it's just been fun. So I want to say thank you for listening to Authentic Conversations. I'm your host Adele, and today we had our guest Keith Leon S on the show.
Great to meet you all.
Wow, let's just recap that conversation. Um, Wealth of information if you want to do books or movies or scripting or anything like that. Like he just has the connections. If he can't do it himself, he knows who can. And he's come up the hard way, right? So if you're struggling and you're wondering why you're struggling, and maybe that conversation with Keith will be that step that you've been looking for, right? And if it didn't come through on the podcast, he's very connected. So if he doesn't know who you need, maybe I do, or maybe he knows who you need. But most importantly, I want it to come through that we aren't here alone for a reason. But if we're always taking, that means we're not serving. And if you get anything out of this conversation, is we're both here to serve, to be in the oneness of humanity. And by serving, we will always be looked after. Because as we serve others, people will come and serve us. And that's how the wheel of life happens. And yeah. So once again, I just want to thank Keith Leon S. for being a guest today. This is an authentic conversation with Adele, the host. And once again, like, share. If you have people that you think would be a good guest, please contact me. We can always have the discussion. Thanks for listening.